Sweet the whispers in your ear whenever Ember wanders near.
It is time to see just how much worse things have gotten with the Buffalo School District. And yes, I washed my paws. All right, so let's see. This is a long one. This is like a 30-minute one. So Rich has clearly got a lot of info to dump on us here. Let's just see how bad things have gotten with the Buffalo School District.
The Buffalo Public School Board and Superintendent are in hot water again, and this time I didn't blow the top on the story. Incredible.
No.
Because the
Wait, what did that say? Hold up. What did that say? I hate when he flashes that. Irony, lol.
Because the superintendent and a board member are caught up in a sexual harassment, sexual assault scandal.
What?
Oh my God.
Oh,
These
shit.
high caliber people, can you believe it? And over the past year, since I came out about the issues with the Buffalo Public Schools, there has also been a mass exodus of people, to include most of their legal staff that were the issue in the first place.
Oh,
Who could have
shit.
possibly seen this coming? Me, I saw it coming. I tried to warn everybody
Yep.
about all this nonsense. And we'll break this down
Yep.
further after a word from this video's sponsor.
And by the way, when it comes with why did Rich warn them, like the legal staff, about this, is the Buffalo School District was covering up the events in question. They were reclassifying incidents in question. They were destroying evidence in the form of videotape evidence of offenses that took place. They were not informing parents of harm that had been done to their children, resulting in them needing to go get medical attention. Like a lot of really shady shit that any lawyer, like the amount of it and the continual like improper and potentially illegal activity would have any legal team for them going, fuck this shit, I'm out. Like they didn't change anything. After all this came out, it seemed like they were not changing anything. Don't forget, like, the school board, like, one of the members of the school board was fucking drunk on a Zoom call with all the board members. She was sitting there just chugging back fucking glasses of wine during a school board meeting and actually, and it even, like, hang on, and even, like, gave the finger to one of her fellow, school board members while she was drunk off of her ass. Like, this is, like, this entire school district is run by just a bunch of, like, morons. And it's, like, it is no wonder that the entire legal team just went, fuckity bye. We're out. There's no helping you people. We're not putting our reputations on the line for you. We out.
Summer's great until it's 95 degrees and 100% humidity outside. You're basically sweating through your soul before you make your first cast. And as much as I love getting on Lake Erie to catch a couple walleye, sometimes I'd rather just stay at home and let the AC do the heavy lifting. That's why I'd like to thank Fishing Clash for sponsoring this week's video. It scratches the itch without the sunburn, mosquitoes, or wondering if you packed enough bait. You can explore over 50 real-world inspired fisheries, catch hundreds of different fish species, and keep upgrading your rod and lures another year to take on even bigger catches. You can battle anglers from around the world in real-life duels, join a clan, and take part in special events. The controls are simple enough for anyone to pick up, but there's enough progression and competition to keep you coming back for more. And yes, it's completely free to play. Join the 50 million players already enjoying Fishing Clash. And if you download it through my link or scanning the QR code, don't forget to use my code AngryCops26 so you can claim $20 in bonus rewards and get an exclusive avatar for free. Thanks again to Fishing Clash for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. All right, I know the fat electrician has notebooks. I have notepads. When a detective pulls one of these things out, it's for note taking.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the specifics matter. And in order to help me keep my train of thought here, I've broken down this video into a couple portions. Chapter 1, the overall complaint of the Buffalo Public School System back in April of 2025 when I came out with it, to now, right? The whole quick breakdown overview. 2, the mass exodus of people leaving the school board or not getting elected, resigning, whatever, to include their legal staff. And 3, their recent harassment allegations. Oh, no. The timeline of that, who it goes against, and what it might say about the overall, what would you say, like mindset of the school board and superintendent when it comes to allegations of abuse. And then my conclusion, because there's been some new things that have come out.
Yes, this is Buffalo, New York.
Oh, yeah. I got more. I have a new interesting piece of information regarding the internal investigation that the schools imposed upon themselves and how, well, maybe it was doomed to fail from the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Huh?
Oh, no. Lack of
Bye-bye.
transparency? Get ready for it. Buckle up, kids. Part 1. The overview of what happened over the past year. April 2025, I go on the Unsub podcast. I talk about the issues with the Buffalo Public Schools not working with the Buffalo Police Department and, in fact, hindering an investigation regarding the potential abduction of 2 children from a school in the city of Buffalo.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unsubscribed podcast. Rich has something important to say, and we would like for you all to hear it.
You ready to get sued? Yeah. The Buffalo Public Schools makes their own statements, calling my whistleblowing attempt filled with, quote, untruths. Shortly after that, additional charges are put on the individual that attempted to kidnap the children. Those additional charges make sense with the issue that I stated.
By the way, I don't know, like, Rich is like speedballing this, so I don't know if he's going to be talking about this later, but leave us not forget the news media that tried to smear the shit out of him and continue to do so. The local news media went on an absolute smear campaign against Rich when he first talked about this, where they basically, they were trying to like discredit by saying bunch of guys just sitting around a table drinking beer and burping and completely ignoring everything that Rich had said in regards to what he had uncovered in regards to the Buffalo schools. That is also very important. And let's see, he got 1 account of attempted luring of a child and 1 count of burglary in the 3rd. Okay.
I stated there weren't just 1 victim, but 2 potential victims. And in the beginning of this investigation and the issues that I brought up, there was only 1 child being brought up as a victim. Well, after I came out, there were 2. That's right, after I came out and the schools said untruths, the 2nd child appeared, like I said that they would, and the additional charges were put on the individual for the attempted kidnappings. The Buffalo Public Schools has a couple of meetings, I think it was through August. And by the end of the summer, the early autumn, the schools stated that they would conduct an independent internal investigation from a law firm outside of its, I don't know, dirty tentacles. The investigation, which ended in February of 2026. Now, during
which Rich actually got a hold of the copy, although it was redacted to fucking hell and back. But Rich got a copy of this and actually read through it on his stream. But again, like I said, they redacted a crap ton of it, so he couldn't really get much information out in regards to it.
This time, although the investigation showed that nobody was at fault, but there were a bunch of issues, but all those issues were nobody's fault. Amazing how that happened. And just a couple months after the mass exodus of the legal team and some other Buffalo Public School Board members, the sexual assault and harassment allegations came out. Oh no. Just days after the superintendent stepped down with no reasoning in a closed board meeting so nobody could know what was going on. It's almost like they're intentionally using these closed board meetings in order to keep the public out of what's going on in their world.
Which, by the way, should not be allowed. It should not be allowed for them. If they are a public school board that is voted on by the people, it's just like any city council. They should not be able to close doors. That should be like any of these meetings should be open and available for the public to sit in on. There should be a public record that anybody can have access to. They are elected public officials. They don't get to keep secrets. Not when you're an elected official like this.
Anyway, that's the overview and where we're at right now. In July of 2026, from April of 2025. Part 2. The mass exodus. Rats fleeing a sinking ship that is the Buffalo.
Oh, hang on. Don't forget that one of the parents of those kids almost got kidnapped, had no idea it happened until after they heard Rich talk about it on the Unsub podcast. Yeah, Yeah, you're right. I did neglect to mention that. I'm surprised Rich didn't talk about that. Yeah, the school did not inform the parents of one of the children that their child was nearly kidnapped. They had no idea until Rich came out publicly on the Unsub podcast about it. Oh yeah, like that's how incredibly fucked this entire situation is. This is because bearing in mind the public school system is hiding all of this for one very specific reason. It's the oldest reason in the world of why they would hide all of this or obfuscate it or try and misdirect on it. Money. Because if the Buffalo Public School District, if it comes out that they're having all of these problems, they might not get as much state funding because they have these problems. Or the state might require them, hey, you need to fix these things and spend money in order for us to keep giving you money, and you can't pocket it or give it to your, or do like contracts with your buddies and try and launder the money that way. That's why all of this is happening. It's all about, as always, money. And money and power. Money and power. Because they, as a school board member, they are in positions of authority. So they want to retain that power and money.
2. The mass exodus. Rats fleeing a sinking ship that is the Buffalo Public School Board. Now there's a bunch of times where different people left during this year and a quarter time period from April 2025 to July 26. So I'll try to split them up into 2 categories. The board members will go over first, and then we'll go over the legal team. Shortly after I brought up my issues in June or July of 2025, the superintendent, Tanja Williams Knight, stepped down. Retired. What a coincidence. In the middle of this crazy
Very interesting.
Okay. What a time. Not inconspicuous at all. Sharon
No.
Bolton Cotman, who did not run for re-election and got out in early of 2026. January 2026, the beginning of the year, is when their tenure runs up for the board members. And we're going to talk about her, but we'll save that juicy tidbit of new information for the end. Terry
goodies.
Shuda, who did not seek re-election. Jen McCosey, who lost during her re-election campaign. And Paulette Woods, who previously stated that she was going to run again.
And by the way, hang on.
And Paulette
And if memory serves, I could be mistaken about this. I could be getting the individual wrong because we did see this probably close to a year ago. I'm reasonably sure that she may have been the one that was drunk during that board Zoom call meeting and gave her colleague the finger over Zoom. I believe that was her.
Woods, who previously stated that she was going to run again, but didn't. Now, you might remember Paulette Woods because she's the wine guzzler who was flipping people off during a video conference. How smart. And she was replaced by Lewis Mookie Hawkins, who, guess what?
What?
Is caught up in the sexual harassment and harassment
for
campaign.
God's... Okay.
Who, guess what? And she was replaced by Lewis.
I mean, look at the hair. Is anybody surprised that he is caught up in a sexual harassment scandal? Just look at the hair. Like, is he pretending like he's George Washington or something? Is he going for the not powdered wig look? He's got the soul glow. He's got the soul glow. I can't go that high.
Mookie Hawkins, who, guess what, is caught up in the sexual harassment and harassment campaign. Uh-oh. Now, the resignations don't end there, because there's another resignation. Susie McKinnon, I don't know if I'm saying that right, McEakin, who in June of this year, 2026,
got the first name wrong.
chose to resign because of a, quote, culture of punishment. Punishment for what? We'll find out later during the alleged abuse and harassment. And finally, the most recent resignation of a school board member, the school superintendent, Pascal Mubenga. Oh, he Mubenga'd his head against the wall too many times that he decided to, and I quote, take a woman's hand and force it onto his genitals.
What? Hold up. Hold that. Hold that. Hold up. I need to research. This requires research. Hang on. Give me 1 second. I must. Let's see. I'm curious if he is a legal citizen or if he's even American. Yeah, undo. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh shit, chat. Okay, hang on. Let me. Hang on. That's okay. Hang on. Let me. I did a quick Grok search on him. Hang on. Is Pascal Mubanga of the Buffalo School District born in the U.S.? Hang on. No, Dr. Pascal Mubanga, often misspelled as Mubanga, the former superintendent of Buffalo Public Schools, was not born in the United States. He was born in Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and raised there by his parents. He finished high school in Congo and then immigrated to the States roughly 40 years ago. Yeah. So the former superintendent of the Buffalo Public Schools,
While saying, look at what you do to me. Force it on.
So an immigrant from the Congo that came to America physically forced a woman's hand onto his genitals. Kissing or requesting hugs to kissing claimant's cheek, forcibly inserting his tongue into her mouth, striking and patting her buttocks. So basically, this individual, an immigrant from the Congo, saw no problem with sexually abusing or sexually harassing a woman. Is anybody surprised? Because bearing in mind, in the Congo, this is perfectly legit. Don't forget, in that region of the world, they did not decriminalize rape until very recently. Back when he was literally born and raised in a culture that said raping women is A-okay. Remember that. He came to America with that being taught that culture at home, that women are property and that it is perfectly legal for you to rape and abuse women. And they put him in charge of a fucking school. And look what happened. Not only did we see what happened with those children, which obviously, abusing children is par for the course down there anyway, but look what happened here. Is he sexually abused and harassed a woman using his position of authority. Wow, what a surprise!
To his genitals while saying, look at what you do to me.
Uh-huh.
So let's count how many people we lost from the Buffalo Public School Board from the beginning of my complaint to now, July 2026. We've got previous president of the board, Terry Shuda, Jen Nicosi, Paulette Woods, Sidney McGeekin, the previous superintendent, Tonja Williams-Knight, and the current superintendent, well, not anymore since his resignation, Pascal Mubanga. There's only 9 people on the board. And if we take away the 2 superintendents, there's still 6 people? 2/3 of the board has been replaced. Well, I think that's a good start if you want some change going on in the Buffalo.
Well, but as we could see, replacing the board is not fixing the problem. They replaced the superintendent, a woman that turned a blind eye to children nearly being kidnapped, amongst a plethora of abuses being done to children that were never reported to the police, and deliberately trying to obfuscate evidence or flat out destroy evidence And they replaced her with a rapist. Supposedly. At least sexual abuser. So they replaced a woman that turns a blind eye to children nearly being kidnapped with an alleged sexual abuser from the Congo. Looks like the replacements aren't doing all that great either. And I'm legitimately kind of scared who they replace the people on the board with. I'm sure Rich has a list. I'm both curious and terrified of whom they chose to replace them on the board.
Public school system, but it is a little conspiratorial that all these people should just up and leave during an ongoing investigation into the school board for creating a, I don't know, environment where it was unfriendly toward police, so much so that it was refusing to assist in police investigations regarding the abuse of the children in the school. And
at least this one so far seems to be contained to the school. This is not a single school that we're talking about. We're talking about the school board for the entire district of Buffalo, New York. This is not a single school. This is multiple schools within the city of Buffalo. Like probably at least like half a dozen or more. Yeah. At least it is in the state of Utah, defending. Well, I mean, this is city versus state, but it's still a school board that covers multiple schools. Wait, did Don jump into my kick? Hello, Don. Sorry, I'm rolling. I'm sorry. Hello, Don. Love your video. It was disturbingly hilarious and fun. Thank you. Hello. Hi, Don. Yeah, your video was both terrifying and hilariously fun. Bravo on it. By the way, I love the kawaii singing. The kawaii singing in the, of the music was Pete.
Refusing to assist in police investigations regarding the abuse of the children in the school, and also just failing to report abuse of children in the school. Some people would call that a red flag. Would you call it a red flag? I'd call it a red flag. But we're not done with the resignations, are we? No, we still have the legal team. And when I tell you that 60% of the original legal team that was part of the issue, pushing back against the DA's office, obstructing investigations per the DA office's internal and external emails to the school legal representatives. Let's see who these people are. Now, these names are based on some internal documents that I was able to recover, as well as some litigation paperwork. So there may be one or two people missing, and one or two people in the assistant category here may have been just that. An assistant, but not an actual legal representative representing the school. Let's go down who worked for the Buffalo Public School District's legal team. For general counsel, the head, Mary Scarpine. Guess who's gonna get a complaint, Mary? You. Deanna Jones, Danielle Eller. How the hell do you spell Danielle? Donyelle. Are you serious? Shanna Strom and Danielle Muscarella. Now, those two that I just labeled at the end, Scrum and Muscarella, are second assistants, lower tier people on the team. And they're the only ones who stuck around. Wait a second. You're saying that the general counsel, the head of the general counsel for the Buffalo Public Schools, Mary Scarpine, and the assistant to legal counsel, first and second chair, Deanna Jones and Danielle Eller, the top three legal assistants for the school, the representatives, all stepped down on May 2026? I mean, why step down? The internal investigation, external internal investigation by an external legal firm, which it showed that nobody did anything wrong, that there was obstruction, but that's just a word, not actual obstruction, which isn't what the district attorney's office said, which is something I do want to touch on. The external law firm brought in to investigate the allegations that I brought forward. Look through internal emails of the Buffalo Schools legal representatives. I can only imagine Mary Scarpine, Deanna Jones, and Danielle Eller. And in those emails back and forth with the DA's office, they saw an email where the DA's office stated, "You are obstructing an investigation." And then said, well, when they said obstructing, They didn't mean it in a legal sense. Well, funny enough, yeah, I happen to know people in the DA's office. And yes, those legal representatives for the Buffalo Public School were absolutely going to be charged with obstruction. What is that, 195.05? The New York State Penal Code? I think it is.
Oh, shit just got serious. Wow. This was stuff we were not privy to. Like, we knew that they were trying to, like, hinder things, like, especially with the police. The fact that they were close to getting charged with obstruction, and they still might. They might still catch obstruction charges. Because guess what? The statute of limitations on obstruction, pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, statute of limitations on obstruction in the state of New York. Actually, let's check it. Hang on. What is the statute of limitations on a charge of obstruction in the state of New York? Because I'm pretty sure it's to be like 3 to 5 years. I'm reasonably sure, but we'll see. It should be, let's see. Oh, I should have turned off expert. I don't need expert. Okay. So, depending upon the degree, 2 or 5 years. I'm guessing they were going to charge them with second-degree obstruction. Actually, hang on. Rich actually...
Yes, those legal representatives for the Buffalo Public School were absolutely going to be charged with obstruction. What is that,
195.05. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the second-degree misdemeanor, class A misdemeanor. So they would have been. So they have 2 years to file those charges. So that's what statute of limitations is. Is after the crime has been committed, you have up to 2 years after the crime has been committed to formally charge someone with the crime. So there is still a good chance that even though those 3 lawyers fucked off out of there and ran away, they could still be charged for up to 2 years from the time that they committed the obstruction. Whenever that was, when they did their investigation, which was January, I think. Did he say that they did the did they say they did the investigation in January? I can't remember when, but 2 years. So up to 2 years from when the state's attorney contacted the legal representatives like obstructed them. The state's attorney has up to 2 years to file those charges. So even them just resigning or leaving their position doesn't mean that they're safe. They still committed the crime, and the state's attorney could still charge them. Now, are they going to charge them? Well, it's New York, so who knows? Who can say? And yes, you're correct. People in legal offices don't use legal terms casually. They do not, especially in official correspondence. They will not use legal terms in official correspondences, because if they do and they don't mean it, then that can come back and bite them on the ass, especially if the person you're corresponding with has legal representation or they're a lawyer themselves. So yeah, they like when you have the state's attorney that is doing correspondence, particularly with another lawyer, they are going to choose their words carefully in their correspondence. So if they say in their correspondence, "You are obstructing," that means you are committing a criminal offense.
195.05? The New York State Penal Code? I think it is. It's been a while. Help me out, Grok. 195.05. Still got it. Now that's the end of the mass exodus, but not the end of some of the drama. You see, the mayor of the city of Buffalo, Sean Ryan, different Sean Ryan, I know, confusing, especially for me, wrote a letter to the school board stating, hey, listen, there's some holes in the school board. Let's not fill them up.
Hold up there, Rich. Hold up. Speed demon boy. Writing a request that New York's NYSED intervene to prevent Buffalo School Board of Education from filling the North District seat at this time, given the recent allegations against an ongoing investigation against former superintendent and board member. Okay. So, it's apparent that the board is facing a crisis of confidence. Have to demonstrate accountability and restraint to regain the trust of Buffalo students, parents, teachers, families, and rushing to fill the North District seat will only serve to further undermine confidence in the institution. Furthermore, board member Hawkins should, at the very least, recuse himself from all board activity during the pendency of any investigation. These actions, while not sufficient in of themselves to restore trust, demonstrate commitment to the part on the part of the board to act in the best interest of the district. The board has not acted in the best interest of anybody but themselves for years, probably. Yesterday, the Teachers Federation and Assembly member John Rivera wrote to the board to convey sentiments. Board has not promised to wait to fill the seats, and as such, I'm reaching out to you to request that you utilize every tool available to you as the commissioner to prevent them from filling it. I believe that the board is at a precipice and should they move forward with filling the vacancy, confidence in the school board's institution will become difficult, if not impossible. Thank you for this consideration. And sent that to Betty A. Rosa, the commissioner of the New York State Educational Department.
Let's not fill them up right now. We need transparency. In fact, let me quote some of the words that he used. Show restraint.
Oh, there we go.
Demonstrate accountability and regain trust. Pushing to fill this open position so quickly will undermine the public's confidence in the Buffalo School Board. Well, my God, I guess they didn't give a fuck about that because they immediately elected somebody else. However,
there it is.
The man that they chose to elect is a previous Buffalo police officer. Who I happen to know personally, who, before he into this position, volunteered his time in law enforcement charities and non-for-profits. How unlike the Buffalo School Board to just, ignore good counsel and forget about the, quote, undermining of confidence and public trust, or showing restraint, or showing accountability. Wow, new for them to just completely forget about that stuff. But interesting that they went in, I think, a positive direction. But of course, that positive direction is somewhat undercut by the harassment and sexual harassment / assault allegations that have just come to the forefront. So let's get on to part 3. New legal troubles. Well, who's bringing these allegations forward, and who is being alleged to have done the bad things? Well, the victim in this case would be an Antoinette Amos, the chief equity and governance officer.
Son of a bitch! Chief of DEI, are you fucking kidding me? You cannot make this shit up! Oh my dear God! So, bearing in mind, she is the victim in this allegation. So, the DEI hire for the head of DEI is alleging assault I'm going to guess, by a fucking DEI hire. Medeiros is fucking beautiful right now. They are literally just destroying themselves. And it is fucking hilarious to see. I will repeat this again. The DEI hire to be the head of DEI hiring has allegedly been sexually assaulted by, at a guess, haven't seen yet, a DEI hire. The glory of two retards fighting. I fucking love this. You get what you fucking deserve. Okay, let's see if I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. In the next 5 seconds, I could be proven completely wrong and that the person in question was not a DEI hire. I could be proven completely wrong in the next 5 seconds. Let's find out, shall we?
Sir. Ooh, equity. Great. And the individuals being accused of sexual harassment.
Individuals, plural. Employee.
Abuse and workplace harassment are the superintendent of the Buffalo Public Schools who recently resigned in that closed meeting.
Well, called it. Fucking called it. The DEI hire from the Congo is the one who sexually assaulted the head of DEI. You get what you fucking asked for. We need to be diverse. We need to be inclusive to people from other nations. Let's hire this person who comes from a nation who thinks that raping women is not only perfectly acceptable, but expected, and let's put him in a position of authority. Surely nothing bad will happen. Gotcha, bitch. You get what you asked for.
Pascal Mubanga and board member Louis Mookie Hawkins.
No, I can't believe I was so fucking right. I was so fucking right. It's hilarious. You've got the immigrant DEI hire, and then you have the other, Mookie, okay, that sounds like a gangbanger name to me. So you have DEI hired number 2. Oh my God.
Hawkins. Yes, his nickname is Mookie, and he be looking like that. What the is going on in the schools of the city of Buffalo?
Yeah.
Mookie is the name and looks like a 1970s pimp.
Actually, hang on. Hang on. I need to look this guy up. All right. Does Louis Mookie Hawkins have a criminal record? I'm guessing Mookie is probably from New York. I'm gonna hazard a guess that Mookie is probably from New York. That Louis Hawkins, that's a flat out American name. So he's born in America, but question about his history. I did specify it's a Buffalo School Board member. I did. I said of the Buffalo School Board. Okay, now, he's a radio personality. So his history is he is a sports radio personality and coach who was elected to the school board. That is his history. His experience in running the Buffalo School Board is he was a local sports personality. Boy, they know how to pick 'em, don't they? They know how to pick 'em. Oh my God.
Looking like that.
Yeah,
what
full
the
DEI hire.
is going on in the schools of the city of Buffalo? Mookie is the name and looks like a 1970s pimp. Did I just time travel into New Jack City or something? Okay, let's move forward with the allegations and what was alleged. Now, the majority of the sexual assault and harassment allegations are pointed towards the previous superintendent, the one that just recently resigned, Mubanga. Allow me to state them. December 17th, 2025. Mubanga asked the complainant to meet him on a Saturday, off duty. All right. December 18th, Mubanga kissed claimant on the cheek. December 21st, Mubanga had emailed the claimant a gift certificate for a massage.
Hello.
In the same period, after the claimant drove Mr. Mubanga home, he attempted to kiss and touch the claimant as she attempted to leave, and displayed a box of condoms. So the first 2 incidents,
all of which would have been perfectly acceptable where he came from.
might seem kind of but they paint a picture of the unwanted advances or the escalating advances of Dr. Mubanga, the superintendent of the Buffalo Public Schools. And those 3 December dates culminated in the 21st of December where he invites her inside of his home, and after he gets a ride from her, hey, give me a ride home. Okay, yeah, sure, come on inside. Tries to kiss her and shows her a box of condoms. What the? Hey, come on inside.
Yes.
No, you don't. You sure you don't? What about these boxes of Magnum condoms, huh? What if I Magnum condom you up, right? You thinking about that? Awesome. Superintendent's trying to flash, wink winks and nudges about his massive dong by throwing out Magnum condoms in front of his frickin' subordinates. It doesn't end there, though. Let's continue, shall we?
Oh, could he?
January 12th, Mubanga complained that the claimant was not returning his calls and questioned her interest in him. January 14th, following a board meeting, Mubanga attempted to isolate the claimant in his office and
But wait a minute. Why is she refusing him? I mean, she is the chief of DEI. Shouldn't you just go along? It's his culture after all. Why aren't you just simply acquiescing to his culture? Because that's what you're supposed to do with DEI, right? And he couldn't possibly understand that this behavior was incorrect. He doesn't know any better because it's from his culture. And he couldn't possibly realize that that culture is unacceptable in the United States. So why aren't you just going along? Why aren't you just simply forgiving him? Yes, not very inclusive of you, dear. Not very inclusive of you at all as the chief DEI officer. Yeah, he's only been here for 40 years. Why aren't you accepting of his native cultures? That's not inclusive at all of you. You're going to get canceled for this. You realize that, right?
Instructed her to close the door. January 15th, Mubanga sent claimant a photograph of herself that he had taken of her during a virtual meeting. That's not creepy.
Shocking.
Come on into my office all alone. By the way, I'm going to take photos of you while you're on your computer in virtual meetings and send them to you like I'm watching you all the time. Sweet. Great. Awesome. You know that he was employed during this internal investigation? This was going on during the internal investigation. I'll keep going. February 6th, Mubanga sent claimant a group photograph that he had edited so that only he and the claimant appeared in the image. Weird. February 23rd, Mubanga summoned the claimant to his office and again behaved inappropriately. Claimant confronted him for ignoring her repeated refusals. There you go. February 23rd is the day that she stands up for herself and says, hey, listen, stop hitting on me, dude. Confrontation. Don't do this. I don't give a shit about your Magnum condom box in your house.
Oh, she's gonna get canceled now. She stood up for herself and was not accepting of his culture, because this would be acceptable in his culture, and so she refused to accept it. Not very inclusive. She's gonna get canceled.
Anymore. Stop trying to kiss me and send me photos of myself and you together. Weird. March 25th, Dr. Mubanga summoned claimant to his office, told her he was in love with her, and as she attempted to leave, came around his desk, seized her right hand, and forced it onto his genitals, stating, see what you do to me?
Now, you may be wondering, why am I harping on the fact that, this kind of behavior is acceptable where it comes from, and how, kind of harping on that point is because this kind of stuff is done by, you see reported cases of this happening in the Western world with many, many, many other individuals that come from the same region that he came from. Because there, it is completely acceptable and expected. They even the methodology where he said he was in love with her and then basically shoved her hand down onto his junk and said, you see what you do to me. We've seen cases in the last couple of weeks on social media of men from this region doing this to white women. Now, granted, this was not a white woman he did this to. This was to an African-American woman. But this is the culture that these people come from. It is perfectly acceptable and even expected for the men to do this to women, because they do. Where is he from? The Congo. Born and raised in the Congo. And this kind of behavior is perfectly acceptable and expected of them. They are taught it during their formative years by their parents. And so they bring that into the Western world. And because the Western world has become so cucked that they're like, oh, we have to accept all cultures, it is allowed to fester and boil, and is now boiling over, where you have people from this region coming into the West and doing exactly this to not just women that they know, but to literally just random women that they encounter on the street. Hey, I love you. You come back with me. Come back to my room. Come back to my room with me, and they'll even try to get them to put their hands on their junk. This has become commonplace because it has been allowed to become commonplace. Because of the suicidal and homicidal empathy, it has become common in the Western world, primarily in the EU. You don't really see it as much in the United States. In the United States, generally speaking, if somebody tries to do that, they'll get their asses tuned up. But over in Europe, particularly in the UK and France and Germany, this kind of thing has become commonplace to see people like this doing this to women.
The claimant pulled her hand away and left, documented by messages to another person. Oh, okay, so let me get this straight. During an internal investigation on your inability as a school board, including superintendent, to properly report sexual assault and harassment cases against children and assist the Buffalo Police Department in investigations where children are the victims, you're grabbing a woman's hand and forcing it on your genitals, Sir? There are board members that are knowing about this via text messages and they're not fixing anything? It's almost like that issue you're being investigated for is still an ongoing issue. If nothing else, 10 times worse than we thought. Now they can't even keep their hands out of the pants of their coworkers. Awesome. Awesome. Who could have possibly seen this coming? Who could have saw this coming? March 12th, Dr. Mubenga again summoned claimant through his confidential secretary and repeated that he loved her. March 25th,
God's
when
sake.
claimant told Dr. Mubenga that his refusal to accept her rejection angered her, he responded that he would, quote, keep asking until she said yes. Oh, sweet. So we don't even know how to stop.
Because it's allowed. Because she didn't immediately file a suit against him, or better yet, filed criminal sexual assault charges when he took her hand to put it on his junk. That's criminal sexual assault, by the way. Or is there at least harassment? Because she did not actually do something to, like, punish him. He's like, cool, I can just keep doing it. Because not only is it my culture, and I'm fully embracing that, but I'm not going to get punished for doing it in the United States. So why should he stop? Why should he have ever stopped?
Huh? Even when we're grabbing hands to put them on our junk and somebody goes, no, don't do that. We're still not stopping? Awesome. Okay, great. April 28th, 2026.
he wasn't punished.
Dr. Mubenga sought to have claimant come to his office through his confidential staff. One such summons was characterized to claimant as probably time for your daily molestation. That's right.
Wow.
They're even making jokes in the workplace about her daily molestation she has to go through with the superintendent of schools.
Import the third world and become the third world, where even the colleagues are going, yeah, this is totally normal. This is fine. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? The fact that that was a joke, like, oh, it's time for your daily molestation. Like, the coworkers as well are to blame. The fact that none of the coworkers were aware of this and did not file a police report, it's on them too. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's fine. It's we have to be accepting of the cultures. It's fine. Oh, it's time for your daily molestation. You go, girl. Seriously, what the fuck?
Oh man, that Richard Hine is untrue. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just eating this up right now. April 29th, 2026, Dr. Mubenga referred to claimant as his lady, proposed excluding a colleague, Dr. Sharon Brown, from an upcoming conference that he could be alone with the claimant, and stated that he intended to have the claimant consume alcohol during the conference. Claimant contemporaneously described him in a text message to Mrs. Lowe as a pervert. May 11th, Dr. Mubenga again summoned claimant through his confidential secretary. What is a confidential secretary? What the does that even mean?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean, like his secretary that he pays for? What does confidential secretary mean? Are they getting like special secretaries in the Buffalo School Board and superintendent where they're like sworn to secrecy so then this molestation can continue? Is that what's going on? We got.
See, when did they change the term of executive assistant to confidential secretary? Because that's what it is. It's an executive assistant. When did they change the terminology?
Secret secretaries? June 29th, Dr. Mubenga telephoned claimant's personal cellular phone, directing her to come to his office. June 2026, while in Dr. Mubenga's conference room, the claimant was pointing out the window toward the Ingram building to show Dr. Mubenga where he was taking a KeyBank funder for lunch. Dr. Mubenga struck claimant on the buttocks. She reacted by hitting him and telling him, stop it. He flinched in response. Sweet! Now we're smacking fat asses in our office. Good job, superintendent. Way to go, Buffalo Schools. By the way, this is after the internal investigation. This is June.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of issues.
Again, because there was no punishment after the internal investigation, they said, no, it's fine. No punishment, no calling of the police, no investigation. They told this guy what he's doing is just fine. This is what happens when criminals don't receive punishment. I've been fucking saying this forever. When you don't punish people for bad behavior, they will be encouraged to continue bad behavior because in their twisted, fucked up minds, they're like, this is fine. This is cool. I can keep doing this and I won't get punished in any way, shape, or form. This is why if someone does something wrong, you go at them full throttle and you try and facilitate the maximum possible punishment available to you if somebody does something wrong. We are now in the point where there is no such thing as half measures. If somebody does something wrong, either civilly or criminally, you go full throat. You go for the maximum possible penalty every single time. The time for sympathy is over. It is gone. Sympathetic justice is a thing of the past now. This is why with other criminal cases that I've talked about on my stream, other videos that I've reacted to, like with Reckless Ben, why I've said you need to go full force and take him for everything he's got. That's why I had such the issue with him, like, oh, do the chicken dance, will it go? No. You need to financially and legally fucking destroy them. No more half measures, because half measures gives them an out to go, I can do this again, and they will do it again. The sympathetic punishment, sympathetic justice is done. It's gone. Fuckity bye. If somebody commits a criminal act like this, especially if they have a history of it, game over. You go nuts every single time.
But nobody's at fault. Remember that investigation? That investigation's over. Over for a couple months now. It's June. And we're smacking asses of our coworkers being like, yeah, what up, girl? Get it? You want to see these big box of condoms again? July 2nd, 2026, Mubenga again referenced his promise to protect the claimant in connection with the pending investigation while providing no explanation of any protective measures actually taken. Throughout the period, Dr. Mubenga repeatedly stated that he was protecting the claimant from the unions and that the district would have to remove him before it could remove her. Statements linking claimant's continued employment to acceptance of his advances. Now, that was a little wordy, but this is pretty damning because to me it shows the environment created by the Buffalo School Board and superintendent that they will protect you, that they will make sure that no one can touch you. We are untouchable. I am untouchable.
So long as the superintendent can fuck you. That needs to be clear. He was saying, I'm going to protect you with with reading between the lines, the implied condition of I will protect you if I can fuck you. It's not said anywhere in there, and I am postulating, but I can read between the lines. I can see the subtext. That's why he told her that. To basically put her in a position of vulnerability where she would rely upon him and would then be more predispositioned to acquiescing to his sexual advances.
Make sure you're untouchable from any and all complaints. Like complaints about you not taking care of the kids and shoving, investigations under the rug and not reporting them properly, or, obstructing investigations that are already ongoing. So let me read this again to you and get mad with me as we see the hubris of the Buffalo School Board and superintendent and their ability to flaunt how they can get away with anything that they want and skirt the rules and protect one another. Shall I read it again? I shall. Mubenga again referenced his promise to protect the claimant in connection with a pending investigation. Throughout the period, Mubenga repeatedly stated that he was protecting the claimant from the unions and that the district would have to remove him before it could remove her. Once again, the first line, his promise to protect the claimant in connection with a pending investigation. We're protecting people from investigations, are we? It's almost like, I don't know, from like September till February, there was an internal investigation. I wonder if the school board and superintendent protected themselves and others during the investigation, like Dr. Mubenga is stating now. I mean, he was in charge during this time period too. And speaking of protecting people, I think now is the appropriate time to bring this up. Remember how I talked about Sharon Bolton Cotman? She was the president of the Buffalo School Board during the shenanigans, right? All through 2025. President of the school board. Would it amaze you that Sharon Bolton Cotman, during May of 2025, after my complaint, when people were demanding for an investigation, was in a group chat with board members stating that she was, quote, going hard against the investigation? Because that's true. God damn it! Everything comes forward. Everything comes through. That's right.
Rich, revel in your... Just enjoy this, Rich. You have earned this. Just revel in your Schadenfreude. Revel in your I fucking called it. You earned it, my guy.
The president of the Buffalo Public School Board, in a group message with other board members, stated in May of 2025, when the investigation had blown up and I had said, look at how bad the school board's doing. Look at them not assisting freaking kids and the Buffalo Police Department, that in a group chat with other board members stated, quote, I'm going to go hard against the investigation, quote, end quote. Well, channels 2, 4, and 7, Buffalo News Investigative Post, people of the city of Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
Would you think that the internal investigation brought on by the Buffalo Public School System in itself from a firm is going to be a legitimate investigation when during that time period, the superintendent is sexually harassing his freaking staff and saying, I'll protect you from any internal investigations, what's going on, and the president of the school board, Cotman, is saying that she will go, quote, hard against the investigation in May of 2025? Well, I guess you can make your mind up for that. I think you've all been bamboozled. But don't worry, it doesn't end there. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten about Mookie, because Mookie's brought up in this harassment campaign against Miss Amos. Now, I will say I don't quite understand the first complaint that she has in this. February 4th, 2026, on or about this date, following a board meeting after the claimant drove Mr. Hawkins to his vehicle, Mr. Hawkins leaned back, spread his legs, rubbed the inside of his thigh, and stated, quote, tackle me. And thereafter sent claimant a text message stating, I'm glad you didn't tackle me. Now, I know Mookie used to coach football, so was he like, tackle me, when he got out into the snow? As like a joke, like you're joking around about football, and now, because you're sexually harassed by a superintendent, now that's sexual harassment? I don't really understand. Were you in the car? And he's like, yeah, tackle me. That seems creepy. All right, in the car, tackle me.
The translation, he was telling her about me, baby. I'm calling this right now. Him going, tackle me, is basically him telling her, climb over the center console, straddle me, and let's get it on. I'm calling that right now.
That seems like, yeah, let's do the sexy thing. But like if you're joking around, he gets out of the car, tackle me into the snow. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on there. But either way, I guess it was potentially a sexual advance because the workplace harassment continued. Workplace harassment by a Buffalo school board member?
You say?
I don't understand it. Say it ain't so. February 5th, claimant reported Mr. Hawkins' conduct and Dr. Mbenga.
No.
And Mbenga brushed the report aside, responding to the effect of, don't let Mookie steal my girl. And no protective measures were implemented. Oh my God. What? She makes a complaint to Mbenga. And Mbenga says, don't let Mookie steal my girl. We're just ignoring this woman getting sexually harassed all the time now, and now we're just fighting over her.
Are you
awesome.
kidding
Way
me?
to protect people. Way to report it, right? Because we don't do that in the Buffalo public school system. We don't report sexual assaults, harassment, or any other harassment. Do we? No, we don't do that. And we don't assist in investigations.
How very inclusive of you. Make sure you don't report the sexual harassers and sexual abusers because you don't know what they're feeling. You didn't put yourself into their shoes. Don't report them. They're poor misunderstood souls. Why would you ever think about reporting them for improper behavior? That's not very inclusive of you. We're going to burn you at the stake for that one. We're going to cancel you because you're not being very DEI.
Which we bring internally upon ourselves. No, we go hard against the investigations. That's what I've learned so far. On multiple evenings, Mr. Hawkins telephoned the claimant's personal cell phone. Claimant didn't reciprocate what she received as unwanted personal advances. Mr. Hawkins' demeanor towards her changed and he ceased professional communication with her. The rest of her complaints against Mookie, great name, pretty much go through May, stating that during board members' meetings and other professional meetings, he would be angry or aggressive towards her, and she took that as because she thwarted his physical advances, that this was a retribution. I'll be mean to you because you scorned me. And so there you have it. Now we come to the conclusion. Ready? Number 4, the conclusion. A saying you've heard me say once, and I'll say it again. Oh man, who could have possibly saw this coming? Was it me? Was it me? Did I
think it was you,
possibly see
Rich.
this
I think it
coming?
was you.
Did I make a complaint and bring it up
I
to
think
the
it
news?
was.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Was I then told that these are untruths and then everybody started leaving? Yes. Yes, they
Uh-huh.
did, didn't they? Crazy how that happens. Well, in conclusion, I think that we can all agree that the investigation done by the Buffalo Public School Board is pretty much bunk. Not only was the president of the school board from that entire year of 2025 against and going hard against the investigation, quote unquote, in a group message with other board members. During the time period of the investigation, the superintendent of the school is sexually harassing and assaulting staff. And potentially another board member is hitting on staff members and then harassing them throughout the year because they feigned their sexual advances. I guess the question you gotta ask yourself is, who's gonna investigate the public schools now? Who's gonna look into the lawyers that left the school saying,
I have an answer for you.
FBI, open up!
Maybe not the FBI, but district attorney, state police, maybe the Buffalo police actually do a criminal investigation for once. I know Rich would love to be able to open up a criminal investigation against them.
yeah, we'll get out of here, even though we obstructed the investigation. Well, I'm going to leave a nice letter that you can cut and paste and email to Governor Kathy Hochul.
Oh.
There's her email address for any complaints that you might have. If you want the Attorney General's office, I'll put that there too. So let me ask you this. Are you upset? Did you hit the like button or the dislike button? Are you commenting how this is? How about you let me borrow 30 seconds of your day and you cut and paste the message that I post below in my description and you email it to these two email addresses and say, hey, doesn't anybody care about the kids? Why can't we protect the
The AG not having a public email is not a surprise. That legitimately, that's not a surprise that the Attorney General would not have a public email, because can you imagine how many freaks and crazy people or just like pissed off wine moms would be emailing the AG on a daily basis with absolute bullshit? Yeah, that is no surprise then, realistically speaking.
These kids. Best way to support the channel is get yourself a shirt, Death Before Dismount, which might be Dr. Mubenga's personal slogan, when he's trying to hump somebody at work. We got new shirts coming, even cool Overserved shirts for the podcast. If you want to check out the Overserved podcast, me and my buddy Joe. Cheapest way to support the channel is leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to think about this. The other cheapest way, the best way, is to cut and paste that email and you send it to Aunt Kathy. You let Aunt Kathy know how upset you are. All right. See you next time, Buffalo School Board. Until we meet again. Weirdos.
Making the phone call.
Good afternoon, Attorney Grievance. How may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to make a complaint against a couple attorneys.
Okay, so we take complaints via mail, and we have a form online that you can fill out, or you can write a complaint yourself and mail it in to us.
What is the email, or what is the website that I can make the complaint on?
Okay, so it's going to be www.nycourts.gov/AD4. And when you go on there, there is a section that says filing a complaint, and then there's a link that says general complaint form. And then if you'd like, I can give you the address you would want to mail it to.
Okay. So I can't email it in. I have to write it.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
What is the mailing address after I print out and fill out that form?
It's 701 Seneca Street, Suite 330-0 East.
By the way, notice this last part. This is similar to like why the AG does not have a public email address. It's difficult on purpose to weed out people who are not serious, so you want to make sure it's serious. It's the same thing with the with that, the question regarding the AG's public email.
And that's Buffalo, New York, 14210.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a nice day.
All right. Bye. You too.
Yeah. I'm curious how many people, like, this is Rich. This is Rich. He is part of the Unsub Boys. He has a lot of people at his back. There's a lot of overlap between him and Nick and Donut. A lot of people that would be willing to take a couple minutes out of their day to go fill out the form and post it. This could be interesting.